Welcome to an overview of the Track and Trace functionality from DelmiaWorks. Track and Trace can be used as a powerful tool for looking up details regarding shipments, inventory items, sales orders, and expired items. There are 3 different functions within the Track and Trace module: time-sensitive materials, order status, and recall and analysis. The time-sensitive materials function allows users to look up information with regards to WIP or raw inventory items that have expiration dates tied to them. The order status function acts as a self-service view for those that typically don't have access to sales order information within the system. Recall and analysis can be used for looking up information regarding finished goods, raw materials, or WIP products. This web-based tool gives users easy access to specific details regarding order information, finished good or WIP parts, and lot numbers, as well as expiration dates on time-sensitive items in an organization's inventory. Thank you for taking the time to watch an overview demonstration of the Track and Trace module.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Pryweller, Conference Director for Plastics News. Welcome to Ask the Expert at the 2020 Plastics and Healthcare Conference. Ask the Expert is your chance to engage with professionals on a range of topics and to interact with questions. Today's experts are Courtney Roldan, brand owner at DelmiaWorks, and Melissa Bodilli, DelmiaWorks Roles Portfolio Manager. Courtney and Melissa will discuss track and trace in medical manufacturing operations. They will answer your questions after the presentation. To submit a question, email pnevents@crane.com, or if you're watching along on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, submit your questions through those platforms. With that, I will turn things over to Courtney Roldan and Bodilli of DelmiaWorks. Take it away, Courtney and Melissa.
Thanks so much, Joe. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's presentation on DelmiaWorks Track and Trace tool. Today's presentation is going to cover these 3 key points of what is this tool set, who is it meant for when it comes to who's going to benefit most, and why will you want to use this application. So before we get into the thick of things, I wanted to start out by introducing both myself and my co-presenter. My name is Courtney Roldan. I've been a product owner at DelmiaWorks for the past 3 years, and I've been part of the DelmiaWorks organization for the past 7 years with experience in our main product. Melissa, would you like to give a few words on yourself?
Yes. Hello, and I'm excited to be here today with all of you. My name is Melissa Bodilli, and as Courtney mentioned, I serve our product team as product manager. I've been collaborating with our DelmiaWorks manufacturing customers for over 20 years. I have the privilege of partnering with our manufacturers for the life sciences industry, and with about 25% of our customer base serving the medical device industry in some shape or form, we have a lot of opportunity to solve their most critical business issues. In looking at the market problems, such as the impact of COVID-19 on our industry, as well as common recall trends, our product delivers value beyond our track and trace feature, which you're about to hear more of today. Our real-time products strive to prevent quality issues upstream during the production process, and our manufacturing execution systems support continuous improvement and promote lean manufacturing, such that we can head off recall scenarios as much as it is within our power. Looking at the FDA report on the left, it has become common knowledge about how COVID-19 has had a powerful impact on the healthcare supply chain. There was a call to action from our manufacturers nationwide to bring PPE to market as quickly as possible. The regulations are more relaxed and accommodating for companies to shift their operations to new verticals. And our DelmiaWorks manufacturers have shared success stories on significant reduced time to market to launch new product lines in a matter of days, not weeks or months. We had one of our customers throw up a new production facility in a matter of just a few months versus several months or years, by having the systems and processes in place to achieve that type of scalability. To see manufacturers across our nation respond to our government's call to action has been remarkable and humbling. On the right, we can see a report from the FDA highlighting a recall on a component of a medical device, which happens to be a software component that was recalled due to a security vulnerability. With the track and trace product that Courtney and her team developed, we set out to bring recall and analysis to a new level to enable our life sciences community to identify at-risk products and mitigate their potential harm to the consumer. Courtney, I know you're excited to share what Track and Trace has to offer, and I'd love to turn it back over to you to share the benefits of our product.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. So today we're going to be talking about these following 3 key takeaways. The first is to help you guys understand what this tool can do and how it can help you in your organizations. The second is how all of our users can benefit from this product, as well as lastly, looking into how this tool can help solve problems very quickly. So again, really looking into that recall situation to help you guys get feedback for all of your consumers or your stakeholders very quickly. To start things off, I wanted to give you guys a high-level look at Track and Trace. As you were able to see in the commercial at the beginning of this broadcast, Track and Trace consists of 3 major tools within its application suite. Those 3 tools are recall and analysis, order status, and time-sensitive materials, which I will be getting into further in the coming slides. Track and Trace is a fully web-enabled product, which means that once you have installed it via our IIS installer, you should be able to access the application from any device that can access a Google Chrome web browser. It is also an Elasticsearch, which allows for our users to search through data across multiple tables through our whole transaction log very quickly, getting you the results you need. The people that will benefit most from Track and Trace when you're looking at your internal employees, these are going to be your quality assurance managers, your quality engineers, as well as your customer service representatives and your production planners as well. When we look at the benefits going into your external facing side of the business, your customers are really going to benefit from Track and Trace, and that they will be able to get more information from you quickly, as well as all of the vendors that you're connected to, again, are just going to have more insight into what's going on within your system. Why you would want to use Track and Trace, again, is a very flexible platform that you can use from any device at any time. So unfortunately, those recall situations don't really always happen within that 9 to 5 business hour window. So if you're at home and all you have is your tablet, or if you're on your morning commute and all you have is your phone, as long as you can access that web browser, these tools are at your fingertips. So now looking at the user experience, Track and Trace was designed to fulfill the market problem of needing to get information quickly in that recall situation. We did a lot of research with various customers throughout the different groups, and we came up with a design that allows for you to have highly configurable searches that you can slice and dice however makes most sense to you and your organization. Like I had said earlier, it is scalable to any device that can access Google Chrome, which allows you to access this information from anywhere at any time. And again, like I had said, we put a lot of research into this product to make sure that the design is very easy to use and will allow you to get your users up and running with it with little to no training. Now, when we look at what you will need as a prerequisite to use Track and Trace, you are going to have to be in the DelmiaWorks ecosystem. So you're going to want to make sure that you have all of these normal operational processes set and available within the DelmiaWorks product. So you're going to want to make sure you have inventory set up. You're going to want to make sure you have serialization set up if that's something that your organization uses. And you're going to want to make sure that you've actually processed different transactions through the system as well. So you're receiving in products, you're producing products, and you're recording that production through our system. Some of the supporting products that we have that aid you in getting that data into the system is we do have a warehouse management product called WMS, which allows you to scan and move things around on the shop floor, as well as our various shop floor reporting tools, which again aid in getting the information off of the production line and into your system. And then the final note is just really you want to make sure that you've captured all of these operational procedures so that your company is working in them and you can ensure that everything is consistently getting processed through your system. So now with all of that out of the way, I wanted to start by looking at our main piece of the track and trace puzzle, which is recall and analysis. This specific application really focuses on raw material lot numbers and as well as production lot numbers and how they're being used throughout your system. You can start your search based off of how much or how little information you are given. So in the example of a recall, if you have somebody call you up and say, hey, I had a issue with the parts that were on or the devices that were on this specific packing slip that I got. You can start your search there by entering in that packing slip information, and what it will return is all of the lot, serial, and all of the associated transactions that went into that packing slip, so that again you can take those search results and really get to the root of that problem, so that you can then react to whoever's asking for this information and give them back kind of that plan of action to move forward and get past this situation. What you'll see in the application is the ability to take that big set of data in the grid and slice it and dice it however you want. We have the ability to sort on all of the columns, to filter on specific columns, to perform advanced filtering as well as advanced grouping, so that if you were looking at a specific lot number and you wanted to see all of the packing slips that that lot number went into, just to, make those search results more consumable to your end users, you can group by the packing slips, and then it'll allow you to view your results in a more condensed way that makes most sense to you. And lastly, once you've gone through the process of finding whatever you are looking for, we do keep track of all of the pieces of the search that you make. So if you launch multiple searches, what we have the ability to do is then export all of that search information into an Excel document that can then be handed out to whoever is asking for it. So again, if your auditors are asking, if they're asking you to show proof of kind of how you got to the resolution of that issue, you can send them that document, which will then show all of those steps as well as how you pinpointed down to finding that specific lot or that specific order that's causing the issues that they're calling about. Our second application within the suite is called Order Status, and this is it's a more specific launching point when it comes to searching for the information you're looking for. So this particular application is built off of the sales order and work order information in your system, and it allows for you to start by looking up that sales order number or that purchase order number that a customer may call in and give you, to quickly give them information about shipments that are associated to the line items on that order, as well as like the work order information that is out there, so that you can quickly report to them kind of what's the status on your order, how quickly is it coming to me as your end consumer. And lastly, you also have that invoicing information. So it's taking all of those pieces that are available in our system and aggregating it into one easy to use location to get all of that information to your end users as quickly as possible. The last application within the suite is called Time Sensitive Materials, and this is specifically going to benefit your production planners who are working with material that is perishable within your inventory. So what you can do within this application is you start your search by looking up an item number or a manufacturing number that you know consumes that perishable material or is perishable itself. And what it will do is it will return to you a list of all locations in which that is stored. And you're able to set your tolerance levels of what is considered good to go for usage versus what is kind of in your red zone when it comes to using that perishable material in production. So if 10 days out from the expiration date, that's way too close to the expiration date to really use it in production, you can set those different tolerance levels so that it'll display to your users as this is in the red. We need to look into this more and look into kind of replacing that material with something fresher. So again, once you've identified that issue of, hey, these pieces really shouldn't be going in our end devices, you can drill into all of the transactions that have been made against that material in that location. So again, giving you more information on if there is a potential risk of any of the parts that you have shipped in the last couple of days, weeks, or months, so that if there is, you can then go and contact your end consumers to take action to resolve any problems before they become a situation. So kind of in summation of, what is track and trace and what is it all about? Track and trace is a tool that will really focus on helping you solve and identify problems quickly. So again, looking at that auditing situation where you're pressed for time and you're given a certain amount of information and told, go find me everything in regards to this piece. You can quickly go into track and trace and start your search. So you can start your hunt based off of whatever information is given to you. And at the end of the day, you can return to your auditors all of that information that's within your system that they're really looking for. You can find that information anywhere. So again, track and trace is a web-enabled product. So if you are stuck at home, or if you're on your commute, or if you're anywhere other than the office, as long as you have a device that can access the internet and use Google Chrome, you can pull up track and trace and you can still do that same work that you would have been doing at the office on your computer. And really, lastly, it allows you to be your customer-driven superhero. So whether it be getting your auditors information quickly, or whether it just be giving your customers an update on their order, and letting them know where it lies in the production process very quickly, it allows you to be that superhero for them, to get them all of that information quickly and efficiently. But really, in the theme of this whole presentation, what track and trace enables you to do is to stop the fire before it spreads. So if you see a problem that could be bubbling up, or if you get word that one shipment is causing issues, you can quickly go into your system and identify what else is out there that we may need to take action on, and take that action before it turns into a huge situation. So with that, I want to thank you all so much for your time. And I'm going to pass it back to Joe for any questions.
Super. Well, thanks, Courtney and Melissa, for a terrific presentation and for really going through the ins and outs of track and trace with us. We're now ready for questions. To submit a question, you can email pnevents@crane.com, or if you're watching along on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, you can submit your questions through those platforms. Here's your first question. I guess I'm going to ask you first to clarify one thing. What's the difference between a serial number and a lot number? You mentioned that in the presentation and thought we'd just shed a little light on that anyway.
Yeah,
Sure,
no
Joe,
problem.
Go, Courtney.
Oh, I was just going to say a serial number is really like an identifier for that part that you're producing. So it's a unique identifier that you can put on the part, and you can associate it to a barcode. So then you can scan it to different orders, and it just tracks that specific piece to whatever you're scanning it towards. Whereas a lot number is more specific to a group of parts that are all related to each other. So a lot number could be associated to all of the parts on a specific work order for the day. So it's, again, allowing you that traceability, but just on a more general level. Whereas a serial number, it's a very specific one-to-one type of ratio.
Excellent. Well, I question that came up during the presentation. I know that in the medical community, especially for molders, there's a lot of regulatory requirements that have to be filled and they have to be met, and that's constantly an issue, and that's constantly hanging over the head of many medical molders as it is. Is track and trace ever used for this or required for this, one or the other, when there's regulatory requirements that crop up?
I can take that one, Courtney. Well, the track and trace module it aids in compliance. You get to establish your own processes and how you want to track information. You can still choose to use paper records and file them and then call them up later. But with track and trace, as Courtney mentioned, it's web enabled, so you can access it from anywhere at any time, and it gives you, it kind of speeds up the auditing process and looking up records and identifying components that were used in certain lots or batches.
Great. So it can speed up the process a little bit, Melissa, you're saying, and can make
Yes.
things a little bit easier when this is being done, and when any kind of regulatory issues are coming about.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Great. Got rid of that fly too, which was nice. We don't want like a debate, right?
That's fine.
Some companies use lot control in their operations right now. How does track and trace significantly differ from using lot control in somebody's operations?
Well, as Courtney mentioned, so here again, you get the ability to access this data immediately from anywhere. So we still use and rely on lot control numbers within this industry to identify batches of product that have been produced, so that we can trace back to components used in a final product in case there is a problem with the component or the product itself. And so the lot number helps you to identify that. And again, how you do your lot number tracking it is up to you, but most of our customers do some form of lot number tracking, and those lots feed into this system.
Okay, great. So it can be used as part of the system anyway. You're talking about DelmiaWorks and your systems with this. Do all ERP systems offer track and trace functionality? Is that something you see across the board?
Well, ours is one of the few full service ERP systems with the native track and trace capabilities. Many full service don't. You are more likely to find one in a system that serves the medical device, food and beverage, or automotive industries. You would expect a track and trace type of product from any quality management system. We have our quality management system wrapped into our ERP system.
Okay, interesting. So it's actually part of the whole native system that you have developed at DelmiaWorks with this.
Yes. Yep.
Excellent. I talked a little bit about stomping out the fire before it starts in a lot of cases. Can you talk a little bit more about the risk that this is taking care of, that this is reducing by using track and trace, and what are some of the risks that are being handled through track and trace anyway?
Sure, I can take that. When it comes to getting an audit, in other systems, customers have had to come up with their own type of tracing tool that can quickly look over multiple tables in multiple areas, or they have to kind of create their own reports in order to find out what's going on and search through our database more quickly. What track and trace allows you to do is you don't have to create those reports, and you no longer have to really learn the database to figure out where that data is that you're looking for. It kind of puts it all together in a much more easy to use tool, so that instead of jumping all over the place to get that information and aggregating it together, you're really just doing it all from one jumping off point. So you're just using track and trace and then exporting that data to hand off to your auditors.
Okay. Well, that makes things easy. Is there a lot of inputting of data that has to be done first to track and trace to do this? Upfront work, I imagine, is important to this anyway.
The really only upfront work that you're going to have to make sure you're doing within our system is that you are using our system, so that, you're processing your data in our system, you're using our scheduling tool to schedule your work orders, and then you're actually reporting the production against those work orders. So as long as you're within the DelmiaWorks system and you're performing transactions and recording them through the DelmiaWorks system, you have all of that kind of prerequisite material loaded for track and trace to then look up.
Excellent. So it's part of the whole system. It's not anything separate that you have to enter data into with this. Super. Are there any good common examples of where track and trace is used in plastics manufacturing, for instance? What kind of areas is it used for?
I can field that one, Courtney. So
Great.
we have a lot of plastics manufacturers that make components that do go into medical devices or are used in maybe food and beverage packaging or whatnot, automotive. So they're producing these components. It's discrete manufacturing, and oftentimes, and they're assigning lot numbers. When they schedule the work order, they produce against the product. They probably have serial numbers on boxes and they're moving it around the warehouse. They ship it out. And if they get a request for information on that lot, they can go into the track and trace, type in the lot number, and then see all the materials, the raw materials that went into manufacturing that product, and get down to the transaction level. So this is lot tracking is not new to the industry. We've always done lot tracking. It's how you do it. That's what track and trace was developed for. It's an easier way, make the how easier. And imagine putting any auditor in a conference room, giving them access to a computer with track and trace up on the screen and then punching in a lot number. They're going to get all that transactional detail without having to really spend a lot of time being brought up to speed on a product. It's very user friendly.
Super. We're almost out of time. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with regarding track and trace or DelmiaWorks?
I would just say that if they're interested in learning more about the track and trace product or any of our systems that we have within our ERP, the MES systems, quality management systems, that they're more than welcome to reach out to our product team, and we'd be happy to have a conversation about how they can use our product in their environment to aid in their medical device or life sciences manufacturing process.
Super. Well, with that, we're finished for today. I'd like to really thank Courtney and Melissa for a terrific presentation and answering your questions so thoroughly. Also, if you have additional questions or want to reach out to Courtney and Melissa, the email address for DelmiaWorks is on the screen, and that will go to one of the two or somebody else in the organization will be able to answer your question. Don't forget to tune in at 2 p.m. today for our next session. We have a panel of plastics processors talking about emerging trends and new opportunities in healthcare. And with us, we have Brennan Rial of GW Plastics. We have Tammy Barris of Westech Plastics, John Boudreau of PTI Engineered Plastics, and also John Regari of Technomark Healthcare. So I hope you join us for that and for the sessions we have going on the rest of this week at the Plastics and Healthcare Conference 2020. I'm Joe Pryweller with Plastics News. Thanks for watching and have a great day.